Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to Gashi's Kama TV, the tallest man in Black Africa. Raila Amolo Odinga yesterday came out and told the world that there is an attempt to assassinate him. He clearly showed his vehicle that was sprayed with bullets, live bullets, 7 times. Though he escaped unhurt, a number of his aides were injured. A number of his security details are said also to have been injured. And there is one picture, one photo that is circulating, and it has been circulating, of a policeman in a checked shirt, a trigger-happy guy. The man is photographed trying to shoot, in fact shooting. And 2 policemen are seen shooting the vehicle of Raila Amolo Odinga. Again, the violence that has been meted to the journalists is on another level. Wanahabari wetu wengi wameumizwa. Zaidi ya wanahabari 20. Some of them, as we talk, are admitted in hospital, nursing serious injuries as a result of being sprayed with canisters, as a result of being physically assaulted by the policemen. What we are witnessing in this country is something that calls for sobriety. What we are witnessing in this nation is something that calls for serious investigations. What we are witnessing in this country is something that can lead to bloodshed. And I want to remind you of a number of things to show you what it means to assassinate Raila Amolo Odinga. Don't take this lightly. When Raila Amolo Odinga says this, he knows what he's saying. And Rwanda lost its president in April 1994 when Juvenal Habyarimana was shot in the air. What resulted in Rwanda is clear to all. Genocide is what followed. Within 1 month, thousands and thousands of people lost their lives. Rivers of blood were flowing in Rwanda. And that is how Kagame came into power. It has not been very clear if he was assassinated by guys in the government or in the opposition. But the consequences were deadly. The consequences meant that Rwanda was never the same again. Again, John Garang of Sudan, I think in 2005, was also seen with his helicopter crashing. And it is assumed John Garang was assassinated. To date, Sudan has never been the same. Yesterday, there was an issue between Salva Kiir Mayardit and his deputy following the naming of the interior minister. Because Sudan has never been the same again. John F. Kennedy in 1963 was assassinated. Abraham Lincoln in 1865, who was the American president, was also assassinated. And what I want to say, that if there is an attempt to assassinate Raila Amolo Odinga, it better stop. The government should move in very fast and investigate what Raila Amolo Odinga was saying. But the violence that we are seeing indicates that there's something. When you listen to the leaders that we have, I heard Ishongwa. In fact, if you go to his Twitter handle, he is saying that Raila should be arrested, and arresting Raila would not have much implication for this nation. And I believe arresting is just a euphemism. Hii ni tasfida. Tasfida ni kujaribu kusafisha lugha. And you know what he mean, the deeper meaning of that arrest. And you look at the consequences. Let me say that if Raila Amolo Odinga is assassinated, that will be the end of Kenya. That will be the end of this nation. This nation will never be the same again. Look at his organic following. I don't think there is any other leader in this country with the kind of organic followers that we are seeing with Raila Amolo Odinga. I don't think there is any other leader with disciples who believe in his cause like Raila Amolo Odinga. If he is assassinated, there will be a bloodbath in this country. If he is assassinated, I can tell you, this country will never be the same again. And I think if I were William Samuel Ruto, I would move very fast and stop these kinds of shenanigans. Because if this continues, and that is why you saw the American government trying to step in to save the situation. And that policeman, the trigger-happy policeman, and you can even call him an assassin, this man should be arrested. The policemen who are spraying vehicles with tear gas and rubber bullets, and those who injured the journalist, they need to be brought to book. If this is a nation of law and order, because there is no way we can have the government injuring its citizens, whether the people are demonstrating. If the government feels that they are breaking the law, let them be taken to court. Never, ever imagine that you can harm the people, that you can harm journalists, that you can assassinate the leader of the opposition, because this will trigger something that has never been witnessed in this great nation. Again, if Raila Amolo Odinga, if whatever what he's saying is true, and if it happens, I believe that his followers are going to retaliate. They are not going to respond with stones. They're not, I can tell you. Because if history is something to be believed as a good teacher, you know, history is a good teacher. The past explains the present. What happened in Rwanda will look like Christmas in this nation. What many people don't know is that there is a lot of bitterness in this nation. People are very bitter. There's a lot of bitterness, especially with Raila Amolo followers, because they strongly believe that Raila would have been the president of the Republic of Kenya in 2007, but he sacrificed his ambition for the sake of this nation. In 2017, the same thing was repeated. And in 2022, he was robbed of his victory. And this is something that wafuasi wake walichukulia kwa uchungu mwingi sana. Kwa hivyo kile ambacho tunaweza tukasema, these people, these followers, if something happens to Raila Amolo Odinga, I can tell you, they'll retaliate. I can tell you, they move out on the streets in numbers. The young, the old. I can tell you, even those who are admitted in hospitals will come out in protest. And you can imagine where this nation will be. Again, if what he said happens to him, expect serious divisions even in the security agencies. The military, the police, even the youth service is going to be divided. If this happens, and when the security agents do not speak in one voice, and because that is what is happening in South Sudan, if they don't speak in one voice, because all said and done, even though they are trying to stop the demonstrations, there are those who believe in him. There are those who sympathize with him. There are those who are not in agreement. There are those who are not happy with what is happening. Truth be told. So an attempt to Raila's life is an attempt to tear the nation apart. And something that has been happening in this country is that there has been talk of secession, whereby the blue nation feels like it can secede from the yellow nation. And the worst part of it is that this country is hopelessly divided. When William Samoei Ruto was sworn in, he did not put more effort to unite Kenyans. What we have seen is Gachagua trying to divide Kenyans along tribal lines. Is Gachagua trying to ridicule the blue nation? Is Dede Nyoro and Kimani Ichung'wah trying to divide Kenyans, trying to accuse the blue states instead of helping William Samoei Ruto to unite this nation? Tunaona kile ambacho kinatokea ni nchi inazidi kugawanyika. So this debate of secession would be taken to another level. And I believe, you see, when this thing happens, usually the civil war, na kile ambacho kinatokea ni kwamba unajua serikali haiwezi kuachilia magatuzi mengine kujitega, haiwezi kuachilia maeneo mengine kujitega. Lazima itajaribu kutumia mbinu zote na mikakati yote kuhakikisha kwamba nchi imebaki kama nchi moja, nchi ya Kenya. But I can tell you, this is what will happen if Raila is eliminated. And especially if this happens during the demonstrations. The demonstration can only be worse. The consequences can only be disastrous. The other thing is that the government will definitely collapse. It will collapse. And I repeat, it will collapse. The reason why it will collapse is that today, if you look at Kenya Kwanza is now hopelessly divided after some guys in the government assisted the attack of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta Northern Farm and East African Spectre Gas Company, when the goons divided the land and destroyed property in Kenyatta's farm. There was serious division in Ruto's administration. And it is these divisions that can be escalated if they interfere with Raila Amolo Odinga. Again, after that, there will be hunger in this nation. Because, you see, people will not be working in the farms. Business cannot be able to continue in a situation like this because there will be civil strife. And a number of people are likely to seek asylum. They are likely to run away from their country. Like it happened to, is it Felix Kabuga? Yeah, something like that, of Rwanda. The man who was a fugitive for many years. And it is good to avoid even talking about assassinating Raila Amolo Odinga. It is good that these guys who have greenhorns in government, it is good that they seek advice from people who have been in government for long. It is important to seek advice from people who know what it means when it comes to statecraft. Indeed, there are many leaders in this nation. And if you look at Raila Amolo Odinga is a leader of this nation. Just like William Samoei Ruto is a leader. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is a leader. And we cannot ignore these people. He's a leader of opposition. And when you start demonizing the opposition, when you start attacking the opposition, because of trying to organize peaceful demonstrations, and when you send the police to try to disperse peaceful protesters, that is where the problem begins. Kwa hivyo kile ambacho tunaweza tukasema ni kwamba serikali inafaa kutumia mikakati yote, mbinu zote, njia zote kuhakikisha that Raila Amolo Odinga, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, Martha Karua are safe. Their security is very, very important for the peace of this nation. Their continued presence in the politics of this nation is good for this nation. After all, William Samoei Ruto has been praying for a strong opposition, and here it comes. So let us ensure that our journalists are not going to be harmed again. Remember, Raila Amolo Odinga announced the mother of all demonstrations on Monday. And what the government is doing, when the government is attacking the oppositions, they can only be emboldened. They can only be stronger. They cannot be weakened by what is happening. I don't know what you think, but from where I sit, let Raila live. Let Martha Karua and Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka continue with their great work because they are serving this great nation. This is Secession Commander towards Man Black Africa. Please remember to like this video, and for those of you who have never subscribed, kindly remember to subscribe, and may you have a blessed Friday. Bye-bye.